Welcome, everyone, to the Innovation Alley podcast. Your hosts today, Carrie Stevenson, Dan Blair, myself, Mike Legary, and we're here with Jeff Ryzner.
Howdy.
The president of North Forge. And on today's episode, we want to get into the nuts and bolts of what the heck North Forge is. What's happened in 2016?
Yeah, like at the beginning of the year, I don't think North Forge really existed very much. Like, what is it? Where did it come from? And all that.
So, ultimately, I think North Forge started with three entities, different entities, that were in the innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. And, a bunch of forward thinkers who were loosely aligned and, collaborating together to, forward what was going on in the ways with startups and definitely, trying to, forward innovation in the province. And so some of that started with, simple things like sponsorships, events that were, more or less aligned. Mm-hmm. And so, the Eureka Project, a technology incubator, Ramp Up Manitoba, who's doing early level or starting the scene with Ramp Up weekends, safe place for people to, come and try an idea out or test an idea in the market, maybe meet people, build a team around that idea. And then, of course, AscentWorks, the rapid prototyping facility, it's working with all types of people and all types of companies throughout their entire life cycles. And just realizing that together, if we formalize this relationship, we could control and expand and grow the entire continuum of support for startups and entrepreneurs in the ecosystem. And, in that realignment, take resources, remove duplication, and actually grow everything that we were doing.
So that's the plan. What actually happened in 2016? Did you actually get all that stuff done?
You know what? Then, we've been so active on execution, you hardly get these moments to pause and reflect, right? But sitting back, we're not even a full 12 months in, and looking back, yeah, I would say that we have radically done more than any of the individual pieces could have accomplished.
So what are some of the big highlights?
Okay, so number one, I would say the massive investment on the training assets for AscentWorks, the fabrication lab.
Yeah, so you can just walk in now and basically get a video tutorial on anything.
Yeah, exactly. So anybody in the world today can actually pick a room in the fabrication lab, understand what equipment is there, what that equipment can be used for, and then once a member, they can actually take a look at, let's call it entry-level use of equipment or advanced use of a piece of equipment, download the current manuals on any of that stuff as well, making the assumption that some people will learn by reading versus watching the tutorials. But, the wonderful thing about the fabrication lab was that whole 24-hour access piece. Mm-hmm. Having training assets available 24 hours a day, that was a huge thing for us. Not just from like a safety perspective, but from here's a brilliant person who wants to now try this new machine. Right? And so there it is. You can do that, right? You just go in, hang out, grab a coffee, rip through some of those tutorials, and get to work.
What else happened?
Okay. We had an epic block party.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay.
It was indeed.
North Forge puts the call out, invites a few hundred. And when I say a few hundred, we're talking about 800, 900 people showing up, people showcasing everything that they're doing. VR-wise, 3D printing-wise, we actually had the makers out, selling some of the stuff that they actually build in the fabrication lab. I was extremely proud to be a part of the organization that helped put that together. Really brought together what I consider to be larger, more experienced technology companies and startups. Part of the major collision.
Now, I heard the operation is now a little bit beyond Innovation Alley itself. Can you
Yes.
just touch on that before?
So that that would be the final piece of the puzzle is all of the programming that we used to wrap around a single facility. We actually have 4 facilities, 5 if you count our expansion outside of the perimeter to Pinawa, Manitoba. And so entrepreneurs all over the province, all over the city, are now able to access rapid prototyping through our cloud infrastructure. So yes, use that CAD software in Pinawa and work with a rapid prototyper in the fabrication lab to make that magic happen. Access mentors and our startup program from all of our facilities, not just one. And that was, I would say also the last piece of the puzzle, we've pretty much tripled down on all of our events, meetups. So from an activity perspective as well, too, we've just...
So we've, a lot has been accomplished in almost a year. I heard that there was an award.
Yes. So, I called the first one Revenge for the Heritage Classic because we were in Edmonton taking an award home for Support Organization of the Year for entrepreneurship for the Prairie region. And it was nice to be in Edmonton taking something home like that. But yes, even more recently, we won the national award.
So now we have an award-winning startup ecosystem. Where is it going to go from here? Like, what are your big plans?
You know what? I think that the pillars of North Forge, we have our heavy mentorship-based startup program. We've got this other piece of the puzzle, which, is unique to North Forge, and that is around the fabrication lab and anything that's going to help inspire or reduce the costs of innovation. So fabrication lab, yes, we can do rapid prototyping, and we can have people attacking the ecosystem that way. We're doing the exact same thing with advanced ICT, so Internet of Things, virtual reality, augmented reality. You want a sandbox to play in? We have cloud infrastructure to do that, help you deploy stuff like that at radically reduced costs. The thing I love right now about AR and VR, it's the Wild West. And everyone wants to see how this is going to impact education, how this is going to impact industry. But guess what? Some of the most brilliant ideas, they don't really know what platform they should be executing on. And North Forge is providing that lab for you to test that on all types of equipment, and our philosophy is, get it done right the first time. So everything that we were doing for rapid prototyping, we're doing that for ICT. We're also building a UX lab testing facility. So with eye tracking, everything.
Awesome. So we're in the alley, and obviously folks from startups and businesses in Winnipeg can come down to the alley, come to the North Forge location. There's the U of M location, but now I'm elsewhere in Manitoba. Let's talk about that, because this is really a key thing. I think is that North Forge is a Manitoban thing.
That's
so
right.
If I'm up north, I'm out east or west. How do I get involved with North Forge?
Okay, so everything that I've talked about, is about accessibility. So even to that UX lab, okay? Mm-hmm. Let's say you've developed an app and you're in Churchill, Manitoba, and you want that app is for baby boomers who like to cook, for example. You can actually send that app to our testing facility. They will recruit baby boomers. They will be taking videos of baby boomers using that user experience on numerous devices, and actually editing that down to a video with recommendations that they can Dropbox back to that company in Churchill, Manitoba. So prior to landing on the Apple Store, they're going to know, what, they're having problems with this, they're having problems with this, tweak that up, make that happen. Well, and like I said with the example on physical prototyping, access the design software, have connect with makers in the space, prototypers in the space in Winnipeg, and let them actually run the equipment for you. They can ship you that physical prototype after it's done. If you're off a millimeter, need to tweak your design, you can actually do that via our cloud infrastructure. We are expanding to 2 additional nodes in the next 18 months, so one in western Manitoba and one in northern Manitoba as well.
Awesome. Perfect. So, in closing, I think what's been neat to see, it's a course for the folks who know us. Obviously, we've all been living this dream for a number of years now, starting from AscentWorks, Startup Winnipeg, Eureka Project, gluing it all together into North Forge and shaping the alley. But I think it's important for folks to know it's a Manitoba thing.
Yeah.
If you're listening, you're not here in Winnipeg, you're not in the alley, you can always get access to everything here. And looking forward to what North Forge is going to bring in 2017.